Okay, so this is going to be a video on how to change the suspension, well at least the shock, on a Nissan 300ZX. This is 1986 one. So this is the old shock right here. And basically the first thing you have to do is you have to jack up the car, and then you have to get a jack underneath this thing right here to relieve some of the pressure from the shock. And then with a wrench, you're supposed to undo this nut right here while holding on to the back bolt. But it's complete. And then this, after you do that, it's supposed to just slide through and come out. But because of all the rust, this bolt is rusted to the inside of this tube here. It's supposed to be smooth like this one right here.
You can show me the other outside where we installed it too.
And we already did the one side over here. So this is the new bolt right here. It looks a lot better than the old one. And on the old shock, we actually had to cut through it, just like we're doing to this one right now. And the old shock is right here. And yeah, that really sucked. That took quite a while to cut through. So that's pretty much what we're doing over here. And after we cut through it, we're going to show you how to take out the shock and put the bolt it into the top and stuff. The difference in this one is that this was a originally electronically controlled shock, so you could change the stiffness of the ride. But these new ones are not, so we had to use a conversion kit. My brother's working on the other half of the bolt. And then we cut this one off in just over an hour, actually. Alright, so because these are not electronically adjustable, we had to get a conversion kit for it. So first thing you have to do is put this rubber bumper on, and you just push it over that, and it goes like right there. And then after you put the bumper on, you have to put this thing called the reducer, which goes on. And there's also two metal pieces from the car that have to come off first that I'll show you after I assemble all this. Anyways, so before we put those metal pieces on, you put the reducer on. After you put the metal pieces on, you take the first washer and then you stick it up in the car frame. And then you have to take the second washer and put it over and then attach the nut, which I'll show you what it looks like when it's all completely assembled. Alright, after about 2 more hours of cutting, we actually managed to cut the shock out. So now what you have to do is you have to come up here, and first of all you have to take the speakers out, which we've already done, and then you come into here. Give me 1 second, and you'll see there's 3 bolts in there. There's 2 here and 1 over there underneath that wire. It's really hard to see, and you have to undo those to get this top black mounting plate out. And
actually, we might have to grab a piece of metal and fucking untighten that middle one, hey?
And you also have to like either put an Allen key or something in the top of that and use a wrench to undo the bolt that's in there, and we'll show that after. Alright, so it took a little bit of work, but
and a little bit of fucking WD-40 too.
At the top, we had to undo these 3 bolts from the top, and that's the ones I showed you before. And you don't really have to undo the top one, like we just kind of, we were trying.
We can leave that. Oh no, we can't.
We tried to pull it out, but yeah, if you look here, that's the big hole is where the top of the shock comes through. The other 3 holes are where the mounting bolts go, and this is what it looks like from beneath. So in the new shock,
this thing's fully compressed, so it's dead.
We'll get seated in there, and you put the new pinch bolt through, and then you come up here, and you have to attach it through there. So we'll show you that after. Okay, so this is the boot on here now, or the bumper, which when the car hits a bump or whatever, if this thing comes up, it'll just bounce off of this thing, and it won't cause any damage to the car. So the other 2 parts I was telling you about are these parts right here. And now these parts are very important because this is what mounts the shock to the car. And this is the top plate for that. So how it goes on is this piece goes on over this, just like that. And then you have to take the reducer, which just slides over the top, just like that. And then you take the top plate and put it on, just like that.
And don't forget about the washers.
And there's 2 washers, so one goes on top just like this, and then you have to install it in the car, and then the other washer goes on top of that, and then you attach the top bolt. So we'll show you when we do that part. Okay, so we're going to be installing the new pinch bolt into where the old one needs to be to attach the new shock to the car. So
Is the new shock over there?
yeah, it's already. So it's just supposed to push through just like that. It just goes right through. That's what it's supposed to do. The other one really didn't do that. And what you also want to do is you're going to want to, after we had to cut through this, but you might just want to scrape out here. There's a lot of like dirt and stuff like that. So we just
wet dirt.
Yeah, so we just scrape that out. So yeah, all you do is you just push the pinch bolt through, and then you have to attach the nut on the other side. So we'll show you what that looks like when we're done. All right, so we have the pinch bolt all tightened up. So now we had to compress the shock a little bit up into the holes with the jack. So
Poke through. You can see they actually look taller on this side than they did on the other.
So you can actually see the pegs there, and that middle thing is right in the middle where you attach the middle bolt. So we're gonna put the plate on, the black plate. Which might take a little bit, but you'll get it. There you go. And now we need to grab the other nuts and attach them. Okay, so we already have the 3 mountain bolts on there.
You can see the bottom washer on the underside of it.
Yeah, so that's the bottom washer right there. We haven't tightened these yet. We just got them in. And then you take your other washer and you have to place it on top. And then you have to take the top nut and tighten that. So we'll start putting that on. And that just goes on there like that.
That's it. That's the end of it, pretty much, after tightening all these.
And pretty much now all you have to do is you have to tighten all these till they can't move anymore. Same with this. And you put the speaker back and you're done. Alright, so we have the 3 bolts tightened down, and we're gonna start with the middle one now. So he's gonna go on there with the ratchet, and down here I actually have a piece of a bike tire, and I have the grip side facing the inside of the pole, and I've got a pair of vice grips here to hang on to it while he tightens it so that the pole doesn't end up twisting.
Instead of the top part, like, tell him the normal way. It's okay if my voice is...
Well, normally we'd have to hang on to the very tip of that thing right there with some vice grips, and when it slips, it strips it. So
yeah, we'd have to twist it.
On the other side, we tried this, and it ended up working. So that's what we're gonna do right now. All right, so we got the top nut tightened now. It only took about not even 5 minutes, and as you can see up there, it's all looking good. Bumpers on there. This is all tightened down here.
All that's left is to put the tire on and balance test it.
Pretty much. So yeah, that's it. Okay, so just because we're gonna tighten the one we've already done over here, to take off the speaker cover to be able to get to the shock, it's pretty easy. This thing usually just pops right off. And then the speakers are right here, so there's actually 1 screw that's tightened in there, so I'm gonna get the screwdriver. So
Star head?
1 second, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we just get the screwdriver and we undo the screw. And that's pretty much it. You just take out the speaker, it just pops right out.
Yeah, ours is only 1 screw, and this may or may not be an aftermarket speaker. We're not even sure, but we can only get 1 screw in, and that's all we really need anyways. It's hidden and it's not going to move.
As long as it holds the speaker in there, it doesn't really matter. And
just don't lose that screw when you pull it out.
Yeah, it should be able to just pull right out. I guess not.
It's probably just catching the thread.
But yeah, that's basically how you do it. You just pull it out and it's right there.